Ciao, hi, hey, hola guys, hola amigos, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. It took me a while to get around to recording. I was thinking so-called march to the very victory, as I put it. Probably not so apt, but anyway. I had hoped to wake up. Message almost went out. It's going to be well to read it, but hopefully it's not something too serious. I struggled to make decisions today, and it's been happening recently. I've been having some problems with my mental health, but I don't know if I was going to say funny enough, but that's probably not the right term. Sadly enough, it's probably a better term. But I was thinking like how to prevent these wars, and one of the things I was thinking of is saying not to join the military. And then I saw in the gym, something about Britain considering forced conscription. I think America is as well, and I think what we need to do is get as many. I say we, anyone who's this and want to be a conscientious objector, anyone who doesn't want to support war, in my opinion, if we starve the beast, so to speak, I think they call it, i.e. if we refuse to join the military, I believe we'll make things much more peaceful. If less people join militaries, gangs, terrorism, or violence, easier said than done. But I'd love for my own people, mixed race people, not to join the military, and even like Mediterranean nations to somehow be more peaceful and that kind of thing. I hope India, for instance, doesn't allow itself to get dragged in. I hope the people of India, whilst trading with everyone, I hope India can be like a neutral ground in all wars, similar with Turkey and other nations across Asia and Eurasian countries between Europe and Asia, like Turkey. I'd love for them to be military neutral, maybe even agree upon military neutrality. Like, especially because I look like a Turk and I see it as a national version of like Anglo-Indians and Eurasians generally, being that it's, as I put it, straddles two continents. It's in two continents. So, yeah, I have been struggling to upload. Tomorrow I hope to wake up ASAP. My plan is pretty much to wake up ASAP, get some refill pads of paper, refill sheets of paper, and write up whatever comes to my mind, and like rough lists of whatever comes to my mind, and try and focus on that and write different topics, and then hopefully write in my diary for my plans for the rest of the month, maybe in the rest of the year, as much of it as possible. And then see what else I can do. I'll try to avoid uploading any videos till it's a bit later, so I can get my ideas onto paper first and really make some decisions, because I've been very indecisive. So hopefully I can get myself back to focus. I hope not to go out too much tomorrow, or to go anywhere really, except for like a short walk around the block. Because every day I like to. There's a couple of things I like to go for a walk is one of them, and have my shower is another one. I was a bit lazy today, so I didn't have a shower for once, which is very unlike me. So due to my silly patterns, I was thinking, as it's a fourth, I wanted to make this video because like it's a Wednesday, which I think of like, I know I have my alliterations, but I think of anti-war in my case, Wednesdays, and also because technically it was a fourth. So, but I thought before I go to sleep, I wanted to talk about worldwide anti-war and how to prevent wars. And to me, it's like, I think they call it starve the beast, not join the military. I think that's really important. If we get as many people around the world as possible not to join the military, I think that would be a great step in the right direction towards making peace. I'd love to encourage my fellow mutts and neurodivergent people not to join militaries. And if there's any forced conscription, I often say this, but if there's any forced conscription, I hope we all challenge it. Like, I hope Courage to Resist will work together with a new organisation I wish to make, called Right to Resist. I call it Right to Resist, which I hope to create, and I hope we can lobby to ensure that we can come together and work with legal groups, lawyers, solicitors, or whatever, to try and stop people from going to war. I'd love for POC, people of colour, to say we're going to stop fighting each other and going to wars and things like that. And certainly I'd love for my fellow mutts and mixed race people not to join the military. One thing I didn't quite get around to when I was talking about my plans for the month. I haven't quite got around to focusing on that and talking about like how for March, just like for February, I talked about black empowerment because it was Black History Month. In America, for March, I hope to talk about mixed race empowerment. For me, it's I wouldn't want us necessarily to be financially empowered. I'd love for us to live a fairly frugal life, if that's the right word, a fairly basic life, although to contradict myself a bit, I am a hoarder, but I hoard papers to write, and that's about it. If I had lots of money, I wouldn't buy like a nice car or cars. I'm not really into cars, so I wouldn't buy a motorbike or things like that, or even a bicycle. I don't like to date. I don't like to be a provider like the traditional way or whatever. Being fairly effeminate, if I'm honest. But yeah, I would date if I had to provide a woman, but or whatever. Or if God gave me the choice. Either way, but anyway. But yeah, I'm going all over the place, I know. But yeah, I think we should stop joining the military, and especially I'd love for mixed race people to. One of my dreams is for mixed race people to be diplomats and delegates, especially diplomats, so we could make peace. We could create peace. I'd love for Asian nations to be diplomats as well, especially Eurasian nations as well, one between Europe and Asia that straddle two continents, as I put it. Nations like Turkey making peace deals. I hope that they won't send troops into these wars that are going on. But yeah, I'd love for them to make peace deals, and for Turkey to work with like peace negotiations, listening to both sides of an argument and that kind of thing. But I'd love for other people to share how we can prevent wars. But yeah, to me, if you join the military, you're always going to have an elite group of people who are bloodthirsty, who want lots of money, who are going to use you for their end goal of world domination, whatever it is, wars and all that kind of thing. I'd love for Celtic supporters, I've got my green and white Celtic supporters as well, to, and that says M.K.S as well, but I'd love for Celtic supporters, and I'd love for Italian soccer. I hope it won't be penalised for doing so by the elites, if you like. In fact, I hope there'll be a consumer group that supports peace that would benefit Italian soccer in return. I know one idea I talk about for peace is companies to be discouraged from investing in wars and instead to invest in Italian football and Celtic. Yeah, if God would answer my prayer, if I could make a deal with my maker, if I could make a deal with God, I wish to God we wouldn't, mixed race people would not join any militaries. And instead, I'd love for us to be diplomats and to make peace instead of war, instead of being used as instruments for war, cannon fodder and that kind of thing. The other thing is, another dream I have is for POC, people of colour, to boycott Western militaries. I know I've talked about it in the past, and I wish to God POC would boycott Western military. I know I normally say I'm not that religious. I do believe in God. I'm paranoia rather than hope. But like if I say I swear my soul on something, I take that very literally, and I take that very seriously. But yeah, there's some things in religion I disagree with. I love the idea of charitable, peace-loving, anti-violence, love, and things like that. I love those ideas, but yeah, there's some things in religion like weddings and marriages which I'm very much against. So I do have a dilemma with that one. But yeah, I believe in religion, as I say, I have paranoia rather than hope. But yeah, I'd say to encourage my fellow muts, i.e. mixed race people, not to join militaries. And again, I'd love for us to be instead like pacifists, conscientious objectors, diplomats and people like that, so we can talk against war and bring negotiation to the table. Given that it's I think of the word pertinent, I think that's probably the wrong word, but a big current issue, obviously, unfortunately, these wars going on. But yeah, I'd love for mixed race people to avoid those and become diplomats and negotiate diplomacy. This is one of my dreams for mixed race people. And I think now is as good a time as any to talk about it. So hopefully tomorrow I'll wake up ASAP and write up my ideas on paper, a range of things, my goals, my bucket list, my goals for the future, my dreams, things like that. And hopefully get back to March to the very victory. But it's not been the best so far, but I hope to start to prioritise my time, prioritise my life, prioritise my time, and take action. I did manage to get my butt into the gym today for once, but I was a bit lazy. I was going to miss it, but do my writing. But next week I'm hoping to do something a bit different. But next Wednesday I hope to talk about Italian football. But I might talk a bit about more ideas that I haven't really managed to think about today because my mind's all over the place, and you can probably tell. Yeah, I love Eurasian nations and other transcontinental countries like Egypt, as well as Turkey, to facilitate peace deals in the Middle East and all around the world as much as possible. And the Asian and African nations maybe to work on peace deals around the world and to try and work towards peace. I think POC should boycott militaries and instead support African and Asian nations, that kind of thing. Support our ancestral homelands, POC, and mixed race people. I wish we would not join any militaries around the world, but again, support peace projects and peace and love and that kind of thing. So I'd love for mixed race people to be diplomats and also philanthropists. I'd love for us to give away as much of our money as we can, like to take what we need to live on, and the rest I think we should give away to charity. I'd love to encourage people like Lewis Hamilton, Emma Grede, perhaps that's her name, Stephen Bartlett, and many other fellow monks, as I jokingly call us, or even neurodivergent people as well. I think Stephen Bartlett might have ADHD as well. Emma Grede has dyslexia, and she's also mixed race. But I don't really want to put too much pressure on them or make them do anything they don't want to do, or basically risk annoying them as well. But yeah, I'd love for us to feel good about giving our money away to the less fortunate, helping the homeless and that kind of thing, taxing wars and the weapons trade and that kind of thing, the military industrial complex. But yeah, I hope I'm making some sense. You probably think you might think that's something other than tea in here, I guess. Yeah, good victory for Celtic today, yesterday against Aberdeen. Although I say it's a good victory, it's a victory, 3 points as they say, but onwards and upwards. So hopefully Celtic can turn things around. Hopefully Celtic supporters won't join the military. I think that would be a good thing if we don't join the military as well. And I'd love for Italy to be military neutral and to have peace through football. That's another thing with Italian football and Celtic, and Italians and Celts. Italians and Celts boycotting militaries as well. I'd love to see more peace activism in the Mediterranean, Middle East, transcontinental countries, and especially Eurasian nations, which come under transcontinental countries as well. But in particular, Eurasian nations, I'd love to make peace. And I think if America, Britain, or any other parts of Europe, or whatever, try to conscript people, I think people should tell them where to go, shall we say, one or two fingers up to them, or whatever. And even if they say they're going to build prisons or forces, if there's enough of us who say no, we refuse, we won't go to be cannon fodder for these wars, then hopefully they can't force all of us. I mean, I've seen images in like Ukraine, people recorded, YouTube will probably take those down, hopefully not, but they might, which to me is a violation of freedom of speech and expression. But they show people like knocking people off bikes and dragging people from nightclubs and things like that. I hope people will maybe clip these videos or help me to save them somewhere. So if YouTube or Facebook does delete them, because I do them live, I'm not pre-recorded them, but I hope people will find a way to save these videos. I give you permission to react to them and save them or whatever. On my behalf, I'd really appreciate that fact. If you made this far, thanks so much for listening to Waffle On. I'd love for you subscribers, it'd be great. Please share the video, share it with your friends and family if you'd be so kind. I have all these ideas in my mind and I just try and find ways to express them, but I hope I can get my ideas onto refill paper and just write whatever comes to mind, write rough lists of thoughts like in list form, rough lists of ideas, and then slightly more formal, and then try and prioritize and things like that, and talk about my thoughts and feelings on paper. But yeah, I should try and go to sleep, and hopefully I can push myself to sleep and get up and get some writing done, and then write my diaries, and hopefully catch up on lost time, because I've been feeling a bit guilty with myself about not having the energy and motivation and commitment to take action on my ideas. I know it's making videos and all that, but it's something. But as ever, hopefully it won't be too harsh, but please let me know what you think. And peace and love. That's it. Let's stop joining the military, and let's starve the beast, starve those. If less people join the military, there's less people to fight these wars. And I am out. Peace and love.